do the intro.
Yeah. Welcome in on the Giants Broadcast Network. I'm David Lewis, joined alongside Collin Smith for tonight's game between the Alexandria Aces and Gaithersburg Giants. Alexandria has tried two previous times to play here in Gaithersburg. Both of those have been rained out, and we do have weather on the way, but we hope to get through all 9 innings tonight and a Giants win, as they are hungry for one after a doubleheader sweep that they lost to the DC Grays last night. As the starting lineups are announced, as we come on the air, the Giants family expected a loss a couple of days ago with Mason Levin from 2 summers ago losing his life. Our hearts go out to Mason's family, and we will engage in this moment of silence now. And after the Star-Spangled Banner is played, we are ready to get underway here in Gaithersburg, Maryland at Criswell Automotive Field on the Giants Broadcast Network. Once again, I'm David Lewis. Alongside me, Collin Smith. And Collin, after yesterday's shocking results, I think is the best way to put it, the Gaithersburg Giants are looking for a win desperately.
Gaithersburg has found themselves in some very tough situations over the past couple of games. We go back to the South County game where they just ran out of pitchers. And last night when they finally saw that production from the mound, they couldn't get the hits needed to win the second game of the doubleheader. Gray Willis and Sarantani out of the bullpen, both really good, but it was a rare time that Gaithersburg did not get their bats moving. Often the strong side of this team. Tonight, they have a little bit more support from the pitching staff. It's going to be Cody Sharman that leads it off, and potentially some new faces out of the bullpen later for Gaithersburg. We'll wait to see on that. But tonight, the Gaithersburg fielders and hitters, they lack a little bit of depth. There's not a lot of guys over there in the dugout. And that means that Danny Orr, an often infielder, is playing in the outfield tonight. That's just one part of these adjustments that manager TJ Brockway has had to make.
You're certainly right. Danny Orr in left, Nate Henley in center, and Brady Ruiz-Weiss in right field. Meanwhile, Freddie Diaz at third, Ryan Maxey at shortstop, Michael Cantiliano at second, and Bryce Rudisil at first. Andrew Holub will be the designated hitter. Zach White behind the plate for Gaithersburg, and Cody Sharman starting on the mound, making his second start, 7th appearance for Sharman. The now Frostburg State product was here last summer as a member of the Seton Hall Pirates, but since transferred over to Frostburg State. And we are ready to get underway as the Giants once again are feeling the heat at the bottom of the North Division and bottom of the Cal Ripken League. Everyone else in the North Division has double-digit wins, And Gaithersburg will need a plenty wins if they want postseason baseball here at the end of July. But here we are at the end of June. And first batter up for the Aces is Cooper Hums. First pitch to Hums. Finds the zone, and it's 0-1. Sharman with a 12.70 ERA. 0-1. Left in the dirt by Hums. Count evens at 1-1. Sharman was a victim of that short-staffed pitching unit that we've talked about, the bullpen for Gaithersburg last week in Bethesda. 1-1, misses, and counts now 2-1. As I mentioned, that it was sort of kind of letting Sharman pitch, even though he was struggling in Bethesda, just had to let him go to avoid throwing position players, just as Gaithersburg had to do a couple nights ago, Collin, that we saw in South County.
And those position players were the difference in the game. 13 runs let up in the 8th. Really the reason the Giants lost.
2-2s popped up over on the third base line. Zach White and Freddie Diaz. I see that one go into the net. So 2-2, the count remains now on Cooper Hums.
Sure, Gaithersburg would love to find an out here against the leadoff Hums. It's been early production for Gaithersburg that helps them settle into games. Sometimes they don't always find themselves early in games and it's let up big innings.
This one grounded over. Cantiliano going to have to field it on the run, and it gets under his glove. Hums is aboard with an error in the infield from Michael Cantiliano. Not the way you want to start if you're Gaithersburg. Your pitcher gets the ground ball, and they do score that one a hit. So
I was just about to say that I think even if Cantiliano gets his glove underneath that, I believe Hums would have reached first base regardless, as it kind of got stuck, trapped up in the infield.
Hums goes on the first pitch, and it's fouled away. So Hums will have to go back.
So, like I was saying, Hums, that ball got trapped in the long grass of the infield, which I think is why Cantiliano had trouble, and he knew he didn't have too much stress to pick it up. So it was likely going to be a single.
0-1 to Derek Almeida. Drops out of the glove of White, but it was outside. 1-1 the count now.
I'm sure Hums wishes he'd waited for the second pitch to take off in this at-bat.
Certainly so. Sharman looks down Hums. Delivers now to Almeida. Hums takes off. Throw down called strike 2. The throw not in time. Was a nice looking throw. Really in line for Cantiliano to make the tag, but seemingly just not as fast as it needed to be to get out the speedy Cooper Hums.
I thought Zach White had a good pop time on there. Luckily, him popping up didn't prevent the ump from calling the strike in the zone.
1-2. Swing and a miss from Almeida. Nice bounce back for Cody Sharman to get the first out here in the top of the first, as Derek Almeida swings and misses on strike 3. That brings up Gavin Miller, the junior Pitt Panther, with Hums now on second base after that steal. Hums takes off for third now. Throw down from White. And they say he's safe at third.
David, I thought that ball got there in time. Diaz goes to apply the tag. Great job from White. He has to kind of avoid Miller as he's a righty standing just in his face in the box.
So now with that, Hums is on third. 1-0 to Miller, misses. And it's now 2-0. 2-0 to Miller. Misses upstairs 3-0. Just missed upstairs, I should say. Hums trying to be the first run of the game. Has 2 steals already after his infield single.
Hums doing his best Brady Powell impression.
3-0. Put on the ground to Diaz. He's going to throw home. White fields it, puts the tag on, and Hums is out at home.
Really impressive play there from Diaz. He takes the risk, sends it home. Hums already on third, has a good jump on the ball, gets it quickly to White, who, after a trip around the bases that Hums has eluded, is Zach White on throwout. Zach White is the one to apply the tag and send him home.
Sure, that feels nice for Zach White, as though and now not a good sign for Gavin Miller, as he was running down to first, getting up a little gingerly in shallow right field, getting attention from the trainer here in Gaithersburg, and as well as his coach Chris Bursett going over to make sure he's okay.
Bursett is walking back to his dugout, yet to see if Miller will remain out there. Looks like he will walk out.
Yeah, Miller's day appears to be done here early. Was running out a ground ball. There was no throw over to first, but did not catch what happened to Miller, whether it was him stepping on first base or something after he went over first base. But either way, not a good sign for the Aces. And the pinch runner coming in will be Will Twomey, the rising freshman headed to Michigan. Twomey will likely take over at third base where Miller was supposed to play here in the bottom of the first, but he is going to get some attention from the training staff here in Gaithersburg. That brings up Ernie Echeverria with 2 outs, and now Twomey standing on first. First pitch to Echeverria misses upstairs. (1-0) to Echeverria. Pops this one up and out of play. Avoids anyone on the soccer field, but evens up the count.
The closest person to that ball was manager TJ Brockway's son, who's just behind here at Kelly Park down on the soccer field.
1-1. Put on the ground to Cantiliano. Backhand, and he'll just nicely step on second. So after a scare with Cooper Hums running loose around the bases, he gets put out at home, and it's a goose egg for Alexandria here in the top of the first. And we'll step away here on the Giants Broadcast Network. is actually taking third.
Interesting.
Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Cody Sharman gets through the top of the first inning unscathed. A very nice top of the first for Sharman. And now Gaithersburg looks to pounce on the debut of number 24, Anthony Eli, for the Aces.
If you're looking in your programs, Thomas Sestro is the 24 for the Aces, but he's out for the season due to injury. Alexandria picking up Eli and recycling the jersey number.
First pitch from Eli to Houghton Henley was fouled off, so 0-1 to Houghton Henley. Henley trying to avoid his future teammate E.J. Hankerson in left. 0-1, put on the ground to third, fielded by Twomey, who throws across the diamond for out number 1. Not Gavin Miller, but Will Twomey. If you're just joining us, Gavin Miller was injured in the top of the first inning, running down to first. He was able to get off the field under his own power, but we hope that he is okay and can return to play soon for the Aces. He was their 3-hole hitter and has been a spark for their very ferocious offense. First pitch to Ruiz Weiss misses upstairs.
But Houghton Henley wishes that his ground ball got caught in the grass as much as Hums did in the first inning.
This one popped up into shallow left. Hankerson running over. He can't make the grab. Ruiz Weiss will head on to second as it goes off the glove of Hankerson. And the first runner in scoring position for the Giants is Ruiz Weiss after that.
Hankerson with a long distance to cover there. I think Alexandria thought that ball was going to land a bit farther out than it did. Had they known that location, I think Twomey would have been the more likely candidate to make the catch.
Derek Almeida was the one who ranged back out there, but saw Hankerson running full speed in there. Hankerson dove forward, had it go off the side of his glove, and Ruiz Weiss now stands on second. That'll bring up Danny Orr. So they score that one a hit for Ruiz Weiss, as Hankerson really did all he could to get to that baseball and just came up short. Danny Orr with now the team lead 13 RBIs. Puts this on the ground by Twomey, throws across, and the throw gets there in time. First baseman Riley Norton nearly went into the path of Orr, but able to keep his foot on the bag for out number 2.
Orr threw up his arms to, I don't know if he made contact with Riley Norton or not, but certainly I thought it was close to base runner's interference if Orr, he threw his arms up at the end. I'm, again, not sure if the contact was made. Orr tonight in left field, somewhere we haven't seen him all year. Normal, everyday infielder, stepping up where his team needs him.
Brings up Andrew Holub, who watches strike one. And going back to that ground ball and that reach by Norton, this past year, college baseball implementing the safety bag that we see across youth baseball a lot. No safety bag here at Criswell Automotive Field. 0-1 to Holub, called strike 2. And I was just going to say that safety bag probably would have eliminated any really close play and close collision between Norton and Orr at first base, as is what they're trying to eliminate. 0-2 now to Holub. 7 RBIs in the last 7 days. Able to lay off. Count goes to 1-2. Holub recently signing with University of South Carolina upstate, USC upstate. 1-2. Ruiz Weiss dancing around on second. Count even at 2-2, as pretty much every single ace in the field thought that was strike 3.
And Holub showing great patience. He goes down in 0-2. as they look for the third out and doesn't find himself reaching on these attempted putaways.
2-2. This one lined right to Almeida, who didn't have to move a beat. And that will end the first inning. As Ruiz-Weiss can't get further than second. It's 0-0, and we'll go to the second inning here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Cody Sharman back out on the mound. He motored his way around the base, but was out at home. Sorry for the picture disappearing. We're ready to get underway. It'll be E.J. Hankerson up now. Watches ball one. Hankerson had Ruiz-Weiss's pop-up go off of his glove, allowing Ruiz-Weiss to reach second in the bottom of the first. 1-0, popped up, shallow infield. Rudisill calls for it, makes the grab for out number one.
And David Gaithersburg gets an early first out, first batter faced here in the second inning. The last time these two teams matched up was you and I down in Alexandria, and we watched quite a second inning. Gaithersburg hoping to avoid that was the difference in the game. Almost mercy ruled, but came back, kept fighting, and we got a full 9 innings. But was it 15 runs?
Yes, it was a 15-run second inning for the Aces.
Certainly wants to be avoided as Gaithersburg now on the homestand.
First pitch to Trip Capers, misses 1-0. This one misses outside 2-0. So since we've seen Capers last, he has entered into the portal decidedly so. Was listed as a George Mason product, but now currently undecided in the portal. 2-0 finds the zone for strike one.
Just about to mention that he's still rocking all of the green and gold in the box with his gloves and his helmet, and his cleats have a bit of green in them, so he's going to need to find some new ones when he gets that new home.
2-1 misses inside, 3-1.
Interesting how the baseball portal works. A lot different than the other sports as it really carries into the summer because College World Series doesn't end until June.
This one misses outside, and Capers is aboard via a walk. That'll bring up Braden Hubner as Chris Bursett listed number 12 Hubner on his roster. However, number 12 is Toby Huber. So it is number 9 in the box, Braden Hubner. 1 letter difference. First pitch to Hubner. Misses low and outside, 1-0.
You and I were talking about that when we were writing our own lineups, getting ready for the broadcast. And I was upset at myself that I wrote down the wrong number and wrong last name, but it turns out that I had it right, and it was the lineup card that was fooled.
Popped up into the netting, 1-1 the count now to Hubner. Hubner, the sophomore at Ball State.
Yesterday we had two different Riveras in the doubleheader against the Grays. Now we have two different Hube names.
1-1, busted bat sound, double play ball possibly. Yes, it is! A line out to Ryan Maxey, who quickly throws a dart over to Rudisil for a double play.
And really smart play by Maxey. He has to move a little bit on the ball as it didn't go directly to him as we saw an inning ago. Crack of the bat right to him. So just like that, the runner had already taken off, and Maxey says, I want to end this inning right now.
Fantastic defensive play to keep the Aces at bay, and the Giants look to take the lead in this one. Still zeros up on the board here in the Giants Broadcast Network. Down was awful. Okay, I'm ready. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. I'm David Lewis. Alongside me, Collin Smith. 0-0 as we go to the bottom of the second. Bryce Rudisil, who was a part of the double play moments ago, steps up to bat now.
Very different, as I mentioned a time ago. Alexandria's second inning, 15 runs last time facing the Giants. So this a little more ideal situation for Gaithersburg.
First pitch to Rudisil, swing and a miss. 0-1 as Anthony Eli begins to work. 0-1 to Rudisil. Started the hands, called strike 2 on the outside part of the plate. Rudisil trying to continue what has been a great week for him. 308 with 2 doubles in the last 7 days. Pops this one up and out of play to stay alive. Count remains 0-2. Eli again making his Aces debut, Cal Ripken League debut. 0-2. Popped up. This one may be playable. Ranging over is Twomey, and it does tail out of play. Twomey was certainly giving that one a hard look and had a long way to run to make up the decision that it was out of play.
So Rudisil's happy to get another pitch off that. He watched. It was a very high ball. We weren't really sure where it was going to land in terms of ability to make a play. Sun's starting to set here in Gaithersburg. I see the outfielders are waving their hand. There's also some bugs out there, I assume.
0-2 to Rudisil. Bounces in, 1-2. This will be the 6th pitch of the at-bat upcoming as Rudisil's fouled off 2. It's interesting how the sun's shining in and a lot of the outfielders keep the sunglasses on their hat brims. 1-2, misses outside. Great take from Rudisil, and it's knotted up at 2 apiece.
And Eli in his debut for Alexandria and the Cal Ripken League already battling Gaithersburg.
2-2. This one hit hard into right field. Ranging over is Capers to make the grab for out number 1.
Mentioned them waving their hands, potential bugs. Sun doesn't come into play for Capers. Able to adjust on that ball just fine.
Capers with a nice little jog to get under that one. Rudisill got a nice piece of it. Didn't quite barrel it up, however. Left the bat at 86 and went to 88. First pitch now to Zach White. Leaves that one up for ball 1. White catching his 4th game in the last 72 hours. 1-0. Swing and a miss. He did benefit from the fact that yesterday's doubleheader was both 7 innings, but still an incredible day for White.
During the lightning break, he came up and joined us for a little bit. You could tell he was tired, but happy to continue to be out there.
Had his pizza sub from Potbelly.
And that inspired me to make that my pregame meal today.
2-1, popped up and over the netting. Did not hit our little shack here.
Zach White often joins us up here in the treehouse. He was eating that pizza melt sub. I saw Potbelly's. I needed my pre-broadcast meal, and I thought I'd give it a try. And we compared reviews. We both really enjoyed it. So we were talking before today's game.
2-2, put on the ground to Twomey. Handcuffed him, but still makes the throw in time for out number 2. And that'll bring up Michael Quintiliano, who in the last 7 days is batting at 100, but has 4 RBIs. Has still driven in the runs despite not being able to reach base. So he has the bases empty here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 2nd. Watches ball 1.
Well, he's here facing his fellow Pirate out of Seton Hall. 2 guys out of the Big East powerhouse.
1-0 fouled off.
A lot of Seton Hall guys in this game. Gaithersburg and Alexandria alike have had the Pirates on their roster. So I wonder if they've ever faced off in some inter-squad games in the fall. Quintiliano maybe has a bit of a read on his pitch.
We'll see here. 1-1. Eli deals now to Quintiliano. Leaves that one low and inside. Was over the plate, but just a little low on Quintiliano at 87. 2-1 the count now. Hit hard over to first. Norton fields it and will step on first himself. So 3 up, 3 down for Anthony Eli. As it's still zeros here in Gaithersburg, we'll step away and head to the 3rd inning on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Cody Sharman continues his second start of the summer for Gaithersburg, as he will face Riley Norton, the sophomore from Elon. Elon, also the school where our colleague Jake Saronis calls home.
I was going to say, Jake Saronis has missed back-to-back times with an Elon guy in the lineup as we face Alexandria, and neither of them Jake's broadcast calls.
First one to Norton, misses outside from Sharman.
You and I go to a school that doesn't field the D1 baseball team, so no opportunity to see some of our classmates.
1-0 from Sharman, misses over the head of Norton.
David and I, Syracuse guys, for those that don't know, is if we don't mention it enough, take a lot of pride in our Orangemen.
2-0 to Norton. Tips this one back into White. 2-1 now the count.
Very impressed with Norton getting a piece of that. He fell off kilter on his swing and just barely tipped it foul. There's no strikes in the count, so it doesn't matter, but would have been an impressive fight.
70 miles an hour. Impossible to time that up. 2-1. Now 82. Misses low and outside. 3-1. Sharman walked Trip Capers last inning, but was a part of that inning-ending double play, courtesy of Ryan Maxey. This one misses way outside, and it's a second walk awarded from the hand of Sharman.
You mentioned that inning-ending double play. Gaithersburg has had some impressive fielding opportunities. Obviously, the throw out at home on Hums, that inning-ending double play in the last time around. So Sharman getting some help from the infielders.
And that'll bring up number 22, Adam Zayabzada. Zayabzada watches ball one. As Norton on first now, the designated hitter tonight for the Aces. 1-0 put on the ground and through the middle infield. Norton won't go any further than second. So after a walk to Norton, Zayabzada follows that one up with a just nice, simple base hit up the middle, leaving the bat at 97.
The ball had an interesting jump on it, appeared to slow down for a second. Maxey was headed towards it as if he was getting ready to make a play, but not there in time.
And that'll bring up the top of the order in Cooper Hums. Hums with an infield single his first time up, and then two steals before Freddie Diaz, a nice heads-up play at third, throws him down at home to keep this game scoreless, but he has a runner in scoring position now to change that. Norton on second, Zayabzada on first. Scoring to bunt is Hums. Pulls it back 1-0.
And Hums' last trip around the bases, I think it was vengeance from Zach White. He missed two throwouts on the attempted steals and then is the one to ultimately get the tag out and not let him put a tally on the board.
1-0 to Cooper Hums. Sharman looks down Norton, delivers now. This one lofted just in the shallow left was just enough. Norton being sent home, or his throw is going to be offline. Zayabzada to third. He's going to be caught in a pickle here. Zayabzada is tagged at second. Hums will stand on first with an RBI single. So it's 1-0 Aces. But Zayabzada, a base running error, gets the first out of the inning.
So a positive and a negative on that play. Norton likely headed home just because of where that's placed in, but a base running error by Zayabzada. The ball originally got away from Zach White, but he got under it very quickly to catch the DH in a pickle.
Pickoff attempt on Hums, as Sharman wisely remembers just 2 frames ago the 2 steals that Hums collected. Trying to keep him honest. Derek Almeida struck out his first time up.
Giants pitchers learning what it's like to face, like what their opposing pitchers see facing a guy like Brady Powell, who often is a leadoff steal man for the Giants.
Powell, who leads the Giants in steals out of the lineup today.
Deservingly so. He's been the Iron Man the past couple of days, played both games in the doubleheaders this weekend on both days.
Yeah, Friday and Sunday. 1-1 to Almeida. Hums took off on that pitch. Stays home here. Fouled off again. 1-2 to Derek Almeida. So shades of the first at bat in terms of Cooper Hums taking off for the first time when Almeida fouled it off.
He's out there running practice wind sprints to second base and then back.
Step off from Sharman, I believe actually it was called time for Almeida, so does not count as a disengagement for Sharman. 1-2, 1 out. Hums on first. Pitch to Almeida. Left low for ball 2.
You mentioned no disengagement from Sharman while waiting for that pitch. Yesterday we saw questionable how many disengagements there were. The Grays thought it was 3. Gaithersburg thought it was 2. If it was 3, it would have advanced base runner, so a little bit of an argument with the umpires.
2-2 to Almeida. Misses outside and low. Full count to Derek Almeida. And I think Cooper Hums is probably going to take off on this pitch to try and generate some disruption in the eyes of Sharman. Full count, 1 out. Hums doesn't go, but this one lined over to Diaz, who throws it across, and the throw doesn't get there in time. Rudisil with a full stretch. Would have been back-to-back lineouts to double plays for the Aces to end innings, but Hums gets back in time, but it is the second out here in the top of the third.
I bet he's glad he did not take off on the pitch as you had predicted. 90 miles an hour to the glove, handled by Freddie Diaz, and a good throw to Rudisil. I agree with the ump. It wasn't quite there in time, but impressive nonetheless.
Now Hums is caught in a pickle. Good step off, and he's caught stealing. Cody Sharman has him fooled. Doesn't have to throw a pitch to Will Twomey. And that ends the top of the third inning. The Aces do plate 1 run in Riley Norton, but it's just the 1 run, I should emphasize. And Cody Sharman is having a fantastic start to his second start of the season for Gaithersburg. We'll step away here on the Giants. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Ryan Maxey will lead off the bottom of the third. The Giants need to respond to 1 run, which they needed to do for a 4 innings, I believe, in Game 2 last night. And were unable to get 1 in response and then had to respond to 2. So, not a tall ask. This is a 9-inning game, not a 7-inning game. But, I mean, the offense has got to bounce back.
Certainly, they don't want to wait till the final frame to put a run on the board as they did in the second leg last night.
Maxey pops that one up. It's 0-2. Yeah, Collin, that was, really tough because there were back-to-back innings in which Gaithersburg stranded the bases loaded. So, I mean, there were lots of opportunities for the bats to come in the clutch, but ultimately fell 2-1 to the Grays in game two. 0-2 misses inside, 1-2 to Maxey.
It's tough because Gaithersburg has been a team that's been great at batting. You had Danny Orr in the lineup, 361, Powell, 333, and they didn't find anything until 7 innings in, and it was too late because of a doubleheader. That's the end of the game. And it was the bats all season that were the strength. And then when Gaithersburg, which has struggled from the mound, finds good pitching, they can't combine that with their previous strength. So it's only ever a one-sided game. It's, as to borrow a Batman reference again, it's a two-faced team. Sometimes they're a great pitching staff and they can't hit the ball. Sometimes they're great hitting the ball and the pitching is lackluster.
Yeah, certainly we haven't really seen the complete game Giants this season. 0-1 to Diaz, who chops that one foul. Maxey swung and missed as he was retired on strikes. Freddie Diaz at third base tonight.
Diaz got his 4th hit on the season. Still batting a merely 138, trying to find his swing this summer.
Once again, Diaz only had a handful of at-bats in the spring for Davidson College, so didn't have too many at-bats that, could really amount to anything. He's down 0-2. Sorry for the pause, just wanted to make sure everyone was okay as that foul ball went onto the soccer field. 0-2. Diaz pops this one out and heading towards the soccer field yet again.
And there's a lot of kids here in tonight's game, a couple families, and we've seen a lot of little ones go out to retrieve those foul balls. They're all running in a circle trying to catch it off a bounce.
0-2 misses outside, 1-2. Well, the Giants are hoping that those kids will be able to chase some home run balls maybe later tonight.
That would be the more ideal ball to chase.
1-2, hitting to straightaway center, tracking back is Hums, who gets under it for out number 1. Diaz has started to generate a lot more contact in recent days. Just unfortunately for him, has put it right into where Cooper Hums could reach it. So that one leaving the bat at 91. Again, recent days, there's definitely been a lot of improvement for Freddie Diaz, and we hope to see the Freddie Diaz that we had hoped to see at the start of the season. It is a crowded infielding group for Gaithersburg with Cade Hentz as well on the way. First pitch to Houghton Henley called strike 1.
Freddie Diaz has to channel his inner Stephen Curry as a fellow Davidson guy. Got to start putting ones deep, not three-pointers, home runs.
0-1. Misses upstairs 1-1. Swing and a miss from Henley. 81 just below the zone is where it came in, but that certainly wasn't what Henley thought it was. 1-2. 2 outs. Pitch from Eli. Misses outside. Really nice take by Henley to even up the count at 2-2.
Henley's batting .217 this season, has appeared in 10 games. Been used a lot more recently in the TJ Brockway lineups.
And that is called strike 3. Anthony Eli gets just his second punch out of the start, but he gets through 3, only giving up 1 hit. And we'll step away here on the Giants Broadcast Network. The score is still 1-0 Aces, headed to the 4th inning. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. I'm David Lewis, alongside me, Collin Smith. But Cody Sharman has now gotten through 3 innings, just given up 1 run. He will now face Will Twomey. Twomey came in again for the injured Gavin Miller. Miller grounded into a fielder's choice and then got injured running down to first base back in the top of the first.
We saw Twomey step into the box in the 3rd inning. Never saw a pitch as Cooper Hums was picked off in a pickle to end the inning.
0-1 now to Will Twomey, the future Wolverine. That one misses for the count to even at 1-1. That one called strike 2 at 72, just on the outside for Sharman. This one hit right back up the middle, and that is into shallow center. And it was really just poked there by Twomey, kind of an emergency swing to try and stay alive, ends up getting on base.
The emergency swing splits the wickets of the infield. Maxey and Cantiliano playing wide and never really had a chance at it. I always find it very impressive when a hitter can line it directly down in the middle. So much spin on these balls, timing your bat perfectly. It would have been a good field goal if this was football and the infielders were yellow goalposts. I don't know if that's a good reference with how many changes I had to make, but it sounded better in my head.
First pitch to Ernie Echeverria is called strike 1. Pickoff not in time. The pickoff move that had Hums fooled just keeps Twomey honest on first. Twomey about 2 or 3 inches taller than Bryce Rudisil, I just noticed. So really, really tall Will Twomey.
You can say Bryce Rudisil is nothing to gawk at himself. I think he's about an inch taller than me. I'm about 6 foot. He was standing next to me before this game, so Twomey certainly has the length if he needs to dive back.
That one misses up high. 2-1 the count now to Echeverria. Echeverria grounded into a fielder's choice to Michael Cantiliano, who stepped on second to end the top of the first. 2-1. Start of the hand, leaves it low. Echeverria now looking at a 3-1 count. The last 2 times it's been a 3-1 count for Sharman. He's walked both batters, Trip Capers and Riley Norton, trying to avoid the same fate here. 3-1. And that is ball 4. There was some hesitation from even Echeverria.
There was hesitation because in terms of where it was across the plate, ball 4 was the same spot as ball 3, but this time about 3 to 4 baseballs higher, clips our TrackMan zone, but not enough within for the ump to do it. As we always say, it's as the ump calls.
This one, first pitch popped up into center field. Houghton Henley misread it, but makes a diving catch to make up for it. Houghton Henley yesterday had some issues tracking a 102-mile-an-hour line drive where he came in first and then had to sprint back, went over his head there, goes first step back, and then has to sprint all the way in and make a dive, but does get out number 1, runners don't advance.
You saw the moment of realization for Houghton Henley that he was not tracking the ball as it was coming in, immediately turned on the Jets to get there in time and get a pivotal first out as there's already 2 base runners for the Aces.
Lines out E.J. Hankerson. That brings up Trip Capers, who watches strike 1. Will Twomey on second and Ernie Echeverria on first. 0-1 for Sharman to work. Now 1-1. That pitch missed just about one baseball's worth low of the zone. 1-1, 1 out. Sharman looks down, delivers now. Swing and a miss from Capers. 1-2 now the count.
There's nothing special on that pitch from Sharman. Just sticking to his stuff. 82 in the zone, and Capers can't put wood behind it.
1-2, Sharman delivers. Just misses outside at 74. 2-2 now.
And there was movement on there from Sharman. Clipped our TrackMan zone, but didn't come across the plate enough for the ump to say it was hittable for Capers.
2-2. Bounces in at 75. It's now a full count for Trip Capers. Pivotal pitch early in this game. Full count. Don't want to load the bases. Just one away here in the top of the fourth. Twomey on second. Echeverria on first. This one lofted. Cantiliano ranging. Gets it on his glove. Makes the throw in time. A nice spin move around for Cantiliano to get the second out.
And we saw Cantiliano miss on that infield ball. It kind of got stuck in the grass there. Makes up for it with the impressive catch and spin move to get that to Rudisil in time out on first. And hitting the spin cycle. His walk-up song is I Like the Way You Move. I think the Giants like the way he was moving on that one.
That is for sure. And what a distance he had to move for the second baseman. Was playing in double play depth. Not where he is currently. Couple steps over and still got over in time to make the play. That brings up Braden Hubner, who pops up the first pitch. Rudisil ranging back, gets under it, calls for it, makes the grab in foul territory. A single and a walk allowed by Sharman do not cross home plate, and it is a fantastic start for Cody Sharman, who has gotten through 4 innings.
Cody Sharman continues his fantastic start. Has gotten help from his fielders. I've been very impressed by this Giants defense. We talked about the Cantiliano spin around, even that Bryce Rudisil catch. Very impressive. Nate Henley diving earlier. It's been an all-around great defensive effort from the Giants. I just hope that they can continue that through a full game. We've talked about the full game for the Giants. Can the bats be added? Can the defense continue? Can the pitching stay consistent? Those questions to be answered.
Collin, you're certainly right. The defense is there early in this game. Can the offense now deliver? And we'll find out as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Brady Ruiz-Weiss, who has a double to his name thus far, the lone hit for Gaithersburg, will try and add to his total tonight. And they say don't trust a guy with 2 first names, but Eli, last name spelled E-H-L-Y, Anthony Eli, has been dealing thus far through 3. First pitch to Weiss, grounded over to Norton, ranges over, and it is foul by a couple feet.
And David, I was going to ask you, do you think we see a Brady Ruiz square to bunt in this at bat? He didn't on the first pitch as we normally see him do, so a little bit of a different approach from the Yale Bulldog.
0-1. Doesn't square to bunt there. 1-1 to Weiss.
I think leading off the order, he's just been given the order to swing away.
1-1 to the Yale Bulldog. That one misses way low. Now 2-1. And I'm sure Weiss really hoped that ball stayed fair because, I mean, Norton probably would not have won that foot race even with the head start in terms of distance. 2-1. This one popped up into shallow left. Almeida getting over. Now it's going to be Hankerson, and he makes the grab. Our view is obscured, but I can hear the roar of applause from the Aces bullpen as Hankerson covered a lot of ground to get there.
Well, it was Almeida, the shortstop, that was putting on the Jets. He got almost all the way to his own dugout bullpen area before Hankerson ultimately decided to be the one to call for ball and comes away with the grab and the out.
Now Danny Orr will step up. First pitch to Orr misses outside. 1-0.
It wouldn't be a Danny Orr at bat if we didn't mention that he is the gloveless wonder of the Cal Ripken League.
1-0 swing and a miss by Orr. The gloveless wonder has been batting at a .318 clip the last 7 days. 1-1 to the UMBC retriever. Fouls this one back into the fence. 1-2 now the count.
And the reason his glovelessness sticks out so much to you and I is because we see him more than anybody else. He leads this team in at-bats with 72. There's no other player on Gaithersburg that's in the 60s.
He hits this one into right field, but under it to make the grab is Trip Capers. So an opposite field knock, not in the cards for Danny Orr as he's retired. That'll bring up Andrew Holub.
He won't be happy with that bat 74, because I didn't count his 73rd earlier in the game.
He will not be happy with his 74th at bat, as now there's quickly 2 outs for Anthony Eli. First pitch to Holub misses low. Eli again making his Aces debut and his Cal Ripken Collegiate League debut. Took the number of Tomas Sestro. That pitch finds the zone. It's now 1-1. Sestro out the rest of the season due to injury. Now a 1-1 count from Eli. This one popped up by Holub. Twomey calls for it in foul ground, and he makes the grab. 3 up, 3 down again for Anthony Eli. That's now 11 straight retired Giants, and we will head to the 5th inning. 1-0 game here from Gaithersburg. It's ranging to be a tight one as Cody Sharman, I believe, will come back on the mound as, yes, he does exit the dugout. Give me a bit of hesitation there. We'll step away here on the Giants Broadcast Network. All right. Welcome back to Criswell Automotive Field here in Gaithersburg, Maryland. A 1-0 ball game we find ourselves into the 5th inning. It was a lone run scored by Riley Norton, who now steps up to bat here in the 5th inning, scored back in the top of the 3rd. Cody Sharman walked him his first time up to begin the 3rd inning. First pitch, Norton grounds it foul, and judging by the reaction, it was handled by the third base coach for the Aces. Again, can't see that because of our obscured view here in the broadcast booth. But 0-1 the count now to Riley Norton.
It's Chris Brissett out on third tonight for the Aces.
So the manager making a play, I would assume.
Their broadcaster texted me just before the game who their infield coaches would be.
1-1 the count now. Called strike 2 at 73. Well placed from Sharman. Had Norton frozen. 1-2 now. That one skips in. Nobody on base. Didn't hit Norton, so no damage done there. 2-2. The count evens up. Two pitch from Sharman. Delivers now to Norton. Lofted right back up the middle. Cantiliano can't get there. And that is the 3rd time here tonight that just a simple slap straight back up the middle has led to a base hit for the Aces.
And I tried a football reference last time. I'm going to say that's like a cricket hit, because in cricket you're trying to not break the wicket in the middle. So that goes straight down the middle. They're trying to defend it. I'm going to compare that to cricket, especially with the pitching track. Our mound and our home plate look like a cricket field. Don't know if I correctly used that reference or not, but we're trying new things on the Gaithersburg Giants broadcast.
First pitch to Zayabzada is grounded down the first baseline and foul. Zayabzada singled his last time up. 0-1. He grounds this one foul again. This one a lot harder at 101 off the bat, but really didn't get enough under it. Exit angle -12, so that's not really going to fly at all here.
I wonder if Zayabzada has a quip with anybody in the Gaithersburg dugout. He sent 2 straight balls flying right at him.
0-2, this one grounded. Rudisil looking for the double play ball. Here's the throw from Maxey. Not in time at first. Rudisil tried to turn it, gets Norton at second. Maxey, a bit of a delay there on the transfer as they had to wait for either Rudisil, Cantiliano, or Sharman to cover first base. It ended up being Rudisil and couldn't deliver the throw in time. No harm, no foul though. So 1 away, Zayabzada now on first.
And the fielder's choice, the play was made just a little bit too far from first base to make that tag first, but I like the idea to get out second. Don't let him get into scoring position. Rather work with Zayabzada on first, the same situation they were in when he got to bat.
And it was a heck of an effort by Rudisil to get that one in his glove and secure. Came off the bat of Zayabzada at 103. 0-1. This one gets away, and Zayabzada will take second. Cooper Hums now looks at an even 1-1 count and a runner in scoring position.
And I said that Zayabzada might have had beef with somebody in the Gaithersburg dugout. I think it's Bryce Rudisil, because the balls were all hit at him. Third one, he gets on base, but as soon as he's next to him, he wants to get away from him. David takes the second. So I think that's where the beef is. Something maybe a little high school. I don't know.
1-1, almost broke back over the plate. Started inside on Cooper Hums. Ends up being 2-1. Zayabzada with a healthy lead on second.
Last time he was out on second, he caught himself in a pickle, so hasn't learned from that quite yet.
That pitch misses in pretty much the same spot from Sharman. 3-1 the count. Again, 3-1 counts are likely walks from Sharman. Now 3 for 3 in that regard. Let's see here. 3-1. Keeps Hums in the batter's box for now, so a full count.
I think he heard you, David. I think he heard us in the broadcast booth. And he said, no, it's not a likely walk. I'm going to put this one in the zone.
We want Sharman to defy the odds here. Full count pitch, one away, Zayabzada. This one grounded over. Cantiliano fields it on a high hop and delivers the throw in time to Rudisil. Zayabzada now on third. And really nice job by Sharman to not let Cooper Hums get away and get the second out of the inning, getting him to roll over.
Apologies on my part. I had 2 outs on the scoreboard originally. I hadn't fixed it after I thought Zayabzada might have been out. So confusion for viewers at home. Now there's 2 outs. I was just manifesting that it would eventually happen, David, and it does.
Manifesting a Sharman punch out or just a ground out here. Zayabzada on third, 1-0 the count. This one grounded over. Diaz has to do a little bunny hop. Now throws over in time. Run doesn't score. And Sharman gets through 5, allowing just the 1. Defense has certainly been there. We mentioned it just an inning ago. But the bats, they got to deliver here.
The bats have to start delivering. These infielders that are making plays are the same guys that are going to step up into the batter's box. So hopefully they turn on that offensive mindset as they get away with Zayabzada on third. He crossed home plate, but it was nothing more than to retrieve a bat and bring it to his dugout because his run doesn't count.
And Anthony Eli will step back on the mound for his 5th inning of work, seeing if he can replicate the success of Sharman. Due up for Gaithersburg, Bryce Rudisil, Zach White, and Michael Cantiliano. Don't go anywhere on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. I'm David Lewis. Alongside me, Collin Smith. Collin, Cody Sharman, one heck of a start, has gotten through 5, given up 5 hits, just the lone run. Now can his offense deliver some support for him? Rudisil cranks this one into right field, but it goes foul.
Rudisil wanted to get it going, as you mentioned, provide support. He's been providing a lot of support out on first base, made a lot of plays, had that great fielder's choice, as well as stretching out to get those force outs on the right corner.
Left the bat at 99 early, 0-1, now 1-1. Rudisil has had a lot of nice throws his way. 1-1. Put on the ground to Norton, who has to backtrack over it. Now delivers. And there's the throwing error. Over to Eli. Gets away from his glove. And Rudisil stands on first. First error of the game. And it's a throwing error from Riley Norton, who is trying to target his pitcher covering first.
Rudisil making his defensive counterpart pay. Gave him a tough ball right up the line. It snuck into foul territory as it got past the bag. So Bryce Rudisil, I bet he doesn't think he would make that defensive error, but he knows that his ball is probably hard to track and get a hold of correctly.
So even though the last meeting between these two teams, the Aces won 20-10, they still had 7 errors in that game.
It was far from perfect.
Far from perfect, even though they put up a 15-run second inning. First pitch misses on Zach White, and the reach on error there from Rudisil breaks up 11 straight retired Giants for Anthony Eli. Rudisil dances, and Eli steps off late there, and that counts as a disengagement with no throw over.
Rudisil's just over there dancing. Something our stats table told me to stop doing during the middle of the inning, David. I wasn't happy about that. I was dancing up here.
Couldn't get your groove on.
I know, but Rudisil's allowed to dance out of first base, gets a disengagement. When I dance in the broadcast booth, I'm told to stop.
1-1 now. Rudisil didn't generate too much disturbance after that pitch. Fouled off the bat of Zach White. 1-1 to the catcher from ULM.
We were talking a little bit of college football as he watches ball 2. We were talking about the transfer portal. We're excited about Syracuse's transfers. We're talking about Tulane also in Louisiana, and we asked him about ULM's football transfers. He was like, nobody. They're all leaving.
No one really to cheer for on the football field at ULM. 2-1. Misses low. 3-1. Eli, this is the first time he's really struggled to find the zone tonight in this at-bat to Zach White. Not sure if he got frazzled having Bryce Rudisil run from behind him and then have an errant throw all in the same play. 3-1. Tipped back by White. Good pitch to swing at, just didn't get enough of the bat head on it.
Sorry to any ULM football fans out there. Zach White's the real powerhouse that you should be watching down in Monroe. If you're ULM, tune into baseball. This has been an electric at-bat so far.
We love watching Zach White baseball. Has been great defensively, and that throw over gets rid of a disengagement that would have put Rudisil on second base. So Eli throwing that baseball over eliminates that leg of damage. Full count. Left outside for ball 4.
Rudisil didn't even have to dance this time for that attempted pickoff, but he did throw Eli off just enough to put that one outside of the zone. And the ULM man, the most electric guy down in Monroe, takes first base. If you like Zach White baseball, you'll love this weekend because there's been a lot of it.
Certainly so. Runner in scoring position for the second time tonight for Gaithersburg. Squaring the bunt is Cantiliano. Great bunt. Now a throw to third to get Rudisil. Heads up play by Anthony Eli. Sprints off the mound to get Bryce Rudisil for the first out. It was a really good bunt by Cantiliano, but just a really nice heads up play there by Anthony Eli.
Yeah, Anthony Eli showing that pitchers play defense too. Gets down and dirty, picks that one up off the ground, and does his best Michael Cantiliano impression to hit him the bunt with a spin move throw.
That brings up Ryan Maxey now. Zach White on second. And that one tipped back into the glove of Echevarria. 0-1 to Maxey.
The umpire had a really interesting tip one there. I really liked the motion of that. It was quick.
0-1, 1 out. Eli gets the sign here. Pitch delivered. Outside, 1-1. Maxey trying to tie this game up here. 1-1, 1 out. Called strike 2 outside. Now a 1-2 count to Maxey. Pitch may have fooled the umpire as well. Now 1-2. This one lofted into shallow right. Under it, Trip capers. Zach White does not go, and there will be no relay throw. Runners stay put. Now 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th.
And if we hadn't seen the tag out on third of Rudisill, I wonder how that would have played out for the Giants if potentially he had a tag up opportunity to make it home. Obviously, you can't speculate without facts.
Would have been tough. That one only went 218, so shallow right field at that. So would have been a close play at home. That brings up Freddie Diaz with White on second, Cantiliano on first. Pitch delivered. Outside, ball one. Diaz, big at bat here. Swing of the bat could tie this game with White on second. 1-0. Misses outside 2-0. Great take there from Diaz.
There is a spot for Diaz, so we're not quite at the chance of Eli giving away free runs quite yet.
2-0 from Anthony Eli. Left outside again, 3-0. That one missed in the same spot as the previous pitch. And now a 3-0 count, 2 outs here in the bottom of the fifth. We'll see if Diaz has the green light here. Interesting spot for Diaz.
We've seen a couple 3-0 swings across the league.
And it's a 4-pitch walk for Diaz.
Doesn't get it there. I was going to say, usually 3-0 is when you get that ball down the middle. Anthony Eli doesn't. He puts it on the outside corner and sends the bases loaded.
And this will warrant a meeting from the pitching coach for the Aces, Anthony Nasso.
Yesterday we saw the Giants leave bases loaded, stranded twice. They have 2 outs here, but they got to the bases loaded with 2 outs. So it'll be interesting to see if they can make up from yesterday's mistakes, learn from those, or if they continue to leave those tying and extending runs out there.
Simple base knock for Houghton Henley will do the job here. Zach White on third, Michael Cantiliano on second, and Freddie Diaz on first. Nate Houghton Henley, the top of this Giants lineup, in the batter's box now. The future Terrapin has 5 walks in his last 7 days. First pitch. Henley hits this one into right field. Ranging back is Capers, and it's in the glove of Capers. It looked like a tough read. Capers robs Henley of what surely could have been a triple because Capers landed flat on his back.
And Capers, just like Houghton Henley an inning ago, apparently misjudged it. You see the moment that he changes directions, begins backpedaling. He had the crowd on his feet. It looked like he was going to drop in. Houghton Henley would find himself onto the base path, but very impressive. Falling over, not diving. This was a fall from Capers out in right field and able to handle it as he goes to the ground. And overall, it's been defense for both sides. Really impressive fielding, David.
Yeah, almost a banana route for Capers out there in right field. Left the bat at 99, went 328, but into the glove of Trip Capers. There will be a new arm on the mound warming up. It's Aiden Carey, the George Washington rising sophomore. So while Carey warms up, we will step away here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Like on Friday. Yeah. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Aiden Carey replacing Cody Sharman. Sharman got through 5 innings of work, an impressive 5 innings for him, giving up 5 hits, 1 earned run, as well as 3 walks, and just the lone strikeout back in the first inning of Derek Almeida. But still an impressive start for Sharman, who we saw struggled in his first start at Bethesda.
Impressive, you mentioned, for Sharman. It's been back-to-back days. We saw Gray Willis bounce back from a start in Bethesda last night. Now Carey replacing. We've seen him for 8 1/3 inning. He's only let up 6 hits in that time pitch, so doesn't allow the hits. And manager TJ Brockway hoping he doesn't allow any here and keeping it a 1-run game, and it's been a defensive story.
0-1. This one fouled off. Now 0-2 to Will Twomey. Twomey taking his second at-bat, singled his first time up, and then made his way to second base. Didn't go any further.
That foul ball reached all the way off a couple bounces to Harriet Tubman Elementary School. That might be the first foul ball I've seen hit the building. It hit the playground area and kept going.
0-2 to Twomey. Popped up and just tails out of play here at Criswell Automotive Field, and then makes its way over to the soccer field eventually.
Not quite as far to hit the building this time.
0-2. Carey looking for his first punch out. Could it be here on Will Twomey? Called strike 3. It is the first punch out. 75 on the inner part of the plate. The throw around gets away from Michael Quintiliano, but it's still 1 out here in the top of the 6th.
And Twomey with great motion. Now there's a bit of confusion. Umps are a little bit upset with what's going on in the Aces dugout, telling them they can't do it. I think the umps are trying to crack down on any chirps and warnings. Past couple days, we've seen a couple warnings. Saw an ejection a few nights ago, so trying to keep it all family-friendly and good fun in the Cal Ripken Summer Collegiate League.
Certainly, the more these teams see each other, the more chippy it can get. First pitch to Ernie Echevarria, misses outside 1-0.
First ball we've seen from Carey, at least called ball. Everything's been either put into play or a punch out.
1-0 misses outside 2-0 to Echevarria. Echevarria walked his last time up. 2-0. This one put on the ground and goes foul, thankfully for Freddie Diaz, as that one was almost tucked inside the foul line, and that leaves the bat at 107.
Hard hit ball. We saw Freddie Diaz field a 90-mile-an-hour one to his glove, but this one's 17 more. Not sure how it would have hit the leather.
We've seen some of these hard hit line drives at different levels put holes in gloves. 2-1. Out of the glove of White. May have.
I thought as you said that, Zach White got a hole in his glove, but no, it was just mishandled. But it hit the edge, and Zach White even stared at it for a second like there might have been damage done.
Believe the count is 3-1 now to Echevarria. Unless the umpire called time when the pitch was thrown. I'm not entirely sure. Zach White having a word with his pitcher, Aiden Carey, now.
Had that been a strike the way it hit Zach White's glove and a third one, that would have been one of the most interesting drop third strikes. Obviously, I'm coming up with all hypotheticals here, but it seemed to be an issue with White's glove for a second. It is
2-1, so that's what I thought the time called.
The scoreboard has 3-1.
Scoreboard has 3-1. It sounded like the umpire said 2-1. I'm not sure. Strike 2 anyway, so I guess we'll go full count as Echevarria looked like he wanted to exit the batter's box there. Hard to hear the umpire facing away from us with his mask on. Full count. Misses outside. Echeverria is aboard with a walk.
Echeverria heads out to first base. The Aces looking to take advantage of the Giants' bullpen, a spot that has been a struggle all season. Carey hoping to not be part of that struggle and change the tide, as we're almost to changing the calendar. Manager TJ Brockway has talked about more pitching availability when July comes around. We're almost there.
First pitch to Hankerson finds the zone. 0-1 to E.J. Hankerson. And now Echeverria standing on first by way of a walk. Fourth walk surrendered tonight to the bats of the Aces. This one chopped foul off the shins there of Hankerson. 0-2.
You remember a couple at-bats ago, all those Twomey foul balls into the soccer field and whatnot? Well, all the kids just returned from the field of play with their gloves, and I assume all retrieved all of those. So that just shows you how far and how long ago those went, that they're just now returning.
0-2. Can Carey get his second punch out? Popped up. Rudisil ranging back. Foul ground. Makes the grab. And that's 2 gone here in the top of the 6th.
Not a punch out for Carey's record, but very impressive. Gets to the 0-2 and just a fly ball and easy out for Rudisil out on first. So, yes, there's a base runner out on first, but Carey's been effective in his outing.
That brings up Trip Capers. Grounded out his last time up to Michael Quintiliano at second base. Has Echeverria on first. First pitch to Capers misses high.
Trip Capers, the reason this game isn't 3-1 right now with the Giants in favor. Talked about that impressive falling catch a side ago.
I'm sure he's not proud of the route he took to get there, but is proud of the fact that he ended up with the baseball.
When it ends up in your glove, they all count the same, David.
2-0. Now to Trip Capers. With 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Called strike 1. Low middle part of the plate on Trip Capers. As we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Capers recently entering the transfer portal was listed as a George Mason product, now undecided. Runner goes, swing and a miss, throw down from White, skips in, and Quintiliano choosing to field the baseball instead of trying to do a quick swipe tag. Either way, I think Echeverria was in there safely. 2-2 even count, that was called strike 2.
Echeverria did have a good jump on it, so I think he would have been safe regardless of how Quintiliano chose to field.
It was a tough short hop for Quintiliano to field. This one put on the ground and foul again. That one probably would have been a little more playable for Diaz than the previous foul ball hit his way. That one just 75 off the bat, but foul nonetheless. 2-2, 2 outs. Echeverria on second. Carey trying to add his second punch out. This one hit hard into left field, and that is just foul. 98 off the bat. Capers wish he was a fraction of a second later on that swing.
For the fans at home, I think you could have felt the deep breath taken as that ball soared towards left field, and the release when the umpire called foul just at the last second.
Count remains 2-2. Carey trying to get the put-away pitch. Capers timed up that last one. Not exactly where he wanted to put it into foul ground, obviously, but that one misses up high. Full count. 2 outs. Echeverria will be running on the pitch, most likely. So we'll see if he can take third. It's the righty Capers. Full count, 2 outs. Taking off Echeverria. Ball 4. No throw from White. It's runners on the corners, 2 outs.
To difficult there. Obviously, you mentioned Echeverria was going to take off because of the full count ball. Smartly does and gets himself all the way to third with no contest on the ball for loading the corners. Carey with an early test in his bullpen outing for Gaithersburg.
Brings up Braden Hubner now. First pitch to Hubner, called ball. Hubner grounded into a double play and then popped out to Rudisil at first his last time up. Double play ball not in effect here as there's two gone in the top of the sixth. Echeverria on third. Capers takes off from first. Throw down from White. They say tag was not applied in time. Cantiliano a bit shocked at that call. Echeverria elected to stay on third.
It looked like Cantiliano had the tag. In my opinion, it was a great pop time from Zach White. Got it out quick. Probably the fastest we've seen a ball reach second base, at least in comparison to the runner stealing.
2-0 gets away from White. Echeverria coming home. Throw to Carey. Tag. They say safe. It's 2-0 Alexandria. And Capers swipes third.
Really tough spot there. The pitch getting away as they just load two players into scoring position. Now one with the run scoring. As well as a 3-0 count for the man at the plate.
3-0. Now Capers on third. Alexandria trying to plate their third run. Carey trying to shut them down here. Hubner, we'll see if he gets the green light, up 3-0. Last pitch went wild. 3-0 finds the zone, 3-1 now.
Carey just needs to settle in. We've seen Gaithersburg pitchers get stuck in two-out situations a lot this season. He's 2 strikes away from putting an end to the side.
3-1, called strike 2, full count now. Carey has had multiple 2-strike counts here in this inning since he got his first punch out of Will Twomey, but hasn't been able to locate that put-away pitch. Full count, 2 outs. Fouled off. Hubner stays alive. 84 located over the plate just on the outside portion.
So Hubner had himself relaxing easy in the 3-0, and just like that, Carey forces him to start battling for foul balls to keep his at-bat in this top of the 6th alive.
Full count, it remains. Payoff pitch here from Carey. Put on the ground, ranging over. Maxey has it go under his glove. Capers will score on a little jog, and an RBI single from Braden Hubner makes it 3-0 Aces.
And just like that, a theme all season. I'm not saying that it is right now, but it's the big inning for the Giants that they allow up a lot of runs. Only 2 here so far. Certainly not an insurpassable comeback, but it's the escapes with the 2 outs that have really killed this Giants squad.
That brings up Riley Norton. Watches ball 1. Hubner now standing on first after his RBI single has once again extended the lead for the Aces. 1-0 to Norton. Fouled off into the netting. 1-1 the count now.
There's some action in the Giants' bullpen. Carey only came out this inning, but is finding it difficult to get that 3rd out.
This one grounded over to Maxey, gets under his glove again. And on his way to 3rd is Hubner. Throw-in will be to 2nd, as Henley didn't really have the option to throw down to 3rd. And now it's runners on the corners with 2 outs. That one leaving the bat at 99. A little more playable for Maxey, but a lot faster off the bat. And I believe they scored that one an error on Maxey. May have rushed picking up his glove a little bit because of the fact that he wanted to get the out at 2nd, would have made it a lot easier. So tried to pick up his glove sooner to maybe get the transfer and the counter flip sooner. to Quintiliano at second. Manager TJ Brockway having a word with Carey now. Hasn't taken the baseball from him.
You mentioned that that advancement by Carey is just not his fault. That's all on Maxey. He gives him the ground ball to the left side. There is action. I believe manager TJ Brockway is going to let Carey ride this one out. He was very effective facing his first couple batters, and the theme continues of struggling to find the elusive third out. I believe that Gaithersburg has about 3 pitchers left in the bullpen. We've seen struggles with availability from that part of the staff, so certainly manager Brockway hoping to go as far as he can with Carey.
Now an interesting shift here for Zayab Zeta. Rudisill holding Norton on first, and Quintiliano playing a deep second base on the lefty Zayab Zeta. Tripping me up already. 1-0 to Zayab Zeta. Maxey pinched a little more towards the middle, and then a big gap between Maxey and Diaz. 1-0 misses low, 2-0. Runners on the corners. Norton on first. Hubner on third.
Interesting to see that Rudisill holding Norton on. Wonder if Carey was hoping to try to manufacture a throw out.
2-0 tipped back into the fence to 1 the count.
Last time Zayab was up to bat, all 3 ones he got his wood behind the ball were either sent towards the dugout or right at Bryce Rudisill. I thought that they might have had some previous beef, maybe a ex-girlfriend or so, or some other high school quarrel.
This one, Zayab Zeta cranks into deep right field. Ruiz Weiss will watch it go. A 3-run blast doubles a lead for the Aces. They had already extended here in the 6th inning. It's now 6-0 Alexandria. A 3-run homer for Adam Zayab Zeta.
I think that confirms my thesis that Adam Zayab Zeta has some beef with Gaithersburg, and he had beef with that ball. He gets it 103 off the bat, sends it 379. Absolutely crushed. That went over the high part of the wall here at Cresswell Automotive Field. So I think that if there is something that he doesn't like about this Giant squad, he's taking it out on that baseball.
6-0 the score now. That home run chases Aiden Carey out of this game. And we will step away as a new arm for Gaithersburg warms up here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network, and it's a Giants debut, a Cal Ripken League debut now for Gaithersburg on the mound. Taking over for Aiden Carey is the incoming freshman at Marymount, number 4, Owen Singer. And Singer has 2 outs and the bases empty after Adam Zayabzada unleashed a 3-run home run moments ago, which doubled the Aces' lead to now 6-0. The Aces had already plated 2 previously here in the top of the 6th, but that 3-run blast has now put this thing into the driver's seat of the Aces. First pitch from Singer misses just about at head level for Cooper Hums, and it's 1-0. Swing and a miss there from Hums at 84. Count even at 1-1.
I've mentioned that turn of the calendar, July 1 was the date mentioned for manager TJ Brockway and getting relief for his staff. It is Singer that comes in a day early on June 30th to make his debut and hoping to support a struggling and thinned out pitching staff for Gaithersburg.
Singer right now hoping for his first punch out as a Giant. Got back-to-back swing and misses here of Cooper Hums. 1-2. Pitch from Singer. Misses upstairs. Count even at 2-2. Hums had back-to-back singles in his first 2 at-bats, but then grounded into the second baseman. 2-2. This one cranked into right field. Ranging over. Weiss can't get there. And it's a third single for Cooper Hums here tonight.
And I'm sure Singer paid attention while he was chilling over in the bullpen before warming up that when Hums gets on base, he doesn't like to stay there. I'm sure he'll watch for the movement, maybe try to get that third out via a throw to either first or second. We've already seen Hums once in a pickle tonight.
The inning keeps going now. The 9th batter for the Aces this inning is Derek Almeida. Almeida's 0 for 3 tonight, has Hums on first. Almeida watches strike 1. Hums didn't really take too big of a lead there with the lefty Singer on the mound looking right at him. Quick delivery from Singer. It's popped up. Weiss calls for it. Makes the grab in shallow right field to end this inning. After Gaithersburg stranded the bases loaded, the Aces said, you can't go that easily. It's now a 5 spot in the top of the 6th to make it 6-0. And we'll go to the bottom of the 6th here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Gaithersburg now needs an immediate response as we go to the bottom of the sixth. The new arm on the mound for the Aces, number 34, Aiden Alexander, the rising junior at George Washington, will try and do better than his fellow GW product Aiden Carey did for Gaithersburg. First batter he faces is Brady Ruiz-Weiss. First pitch to Weiss. And this is inside.
I was hoping manager Chris Brissett left out Anthony Eli for one more batter. I was getting ready to make an Eli Manning, Tom Brady reference with Brady Ruiz-Weiss stepping at the plate.
Weiss grounds this over to Hubner at second. Throw is well in time on the speedy Weiss for out number one.
And the Giants, they need to get their bats going. Yes, it's not 7 innings as it was yesterday. They have a bit of time, but the pressure was put on. The defense came down. We talked about how great the defense was through 5. It struggled a little bit in the 6th as we saw 5 runs racked up. So Danny Orr is going to need to get this party started.
First pitch to Orr has him fooled, swinging at stuff in the dirt and in the other batter's box for Danny Orr. It's now 0-1. Swing and a miss from Orr again, 0-2. Quickly to the UMBC retriever. That pitch closer to the strike zone. Orr still swinging and missing. 0-2. Called strike 3. The first punch out for Aiden Alexander of this outing. And there's quickly 2 gone here in the bottom of the 6th.
And quite the hesitation there from the home plate umpire. I thought it was a strike. He didn't motion. I went to go hit ball, and then what felt like eternity was probably like 2 seconds. He eventually calls strike 3 for the first punch out from Alexander.
First pitch fouled off by Andrew Holub. Every single umpire has their own unique strike 3 call. This one taking a bit of time. Alexander making his 4th appearance for the Aces. 4 innings pitched coming into this outing, now 4 2/3. That pitch misses low on Holub. 1-1 the count. Alexander with 3 runs surrendered, all of them earned across his first few outings. This one's hit hard and into left field by Andrew Holub. And just the second hit for Gaithersburg tonight comes with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Andrew Holub now stands on first.
I was going to say, it's been quite a time since we heard Gaithersburg crack the bat, ball go into play, and a clap of the hands from the fans on the home side. Good to see Andrew Holub make it to first base.
Last inning, it was a reach on error, 2 walks, and then a fielder's choice that got the 4 different base runners that loaded the bases. 1-0 now to Bryce Rudisil. Rudisil had that reach on error just an inning ago. It was stranded on third. 1-0. Left in the dirt again, now 2-0.
And I don't know if I've manufactured this beef between Bryce Rudisil and Adam Zayevzadov, but currently Zayevzadov has the lead. He did go yard, and I think Bryce Rudisil is going to need to respond. I'm going to go with that they do have beef, just for the sake of this argument and to get the motivation going.
Yeah, just for the narrative that Rudisil might need here. 2-0 to Bryce Rudisil. Step off Holub kind of just falls into first base. Wasn't taking too much of a lead, so didn't need to get really a running start to slide back in.
He's a tall guy and not much of a lead. Just a tree falling down to reach first base.
2-0 fouled off of Rudisil himself. 2-1 the count.
Takes a second. Wonder if Zach White gave him some encouragement. Zach White, a fun guy to talk to. Always up here in the treehouse with us. Gets Rudisil fired up as he continues this beef he has with Adam Zayevzadov.
Zayevzadov currently in the Aces dugout as the DH tonight for the Aces. Swing and a miss from Rudisil. It's now 2-2 with 2 outs Rudisill trying to keep this inning alive. Yet again, last inning, Gaithersburg stranding the bases loaded. 2-2, 2 outs, Holub on first. Pitch to Rudisill. This one popped into right field, but it tails out of play and into the Giants' bullpen.
Bet he's glad that one went into the foul territory. He had some power, I don't think quite enough to reach over the fence or the gap. Likely would have been an out had it been put in play. So his at-bat continues.
Extended at-bat here for Bryce Rudisill. 2-2 count remains. Pitch from Alexander. Called strike 3 again. Alexander gets 2 punch-outs, surrenders a single to Holub, but it doesn't count for Gaithersburg. 6-0 the score through 6 here from Criswell Automotive Field. We'll step away on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Owen Singer back out for Gaithersburg. Gave up a single to the first batter he faced in Cooper Hums, but then got a flyout of Derek Almeida to end the 6th inning for the Aces bats. And it was a 6th inning that allowed them to extend their lead to 6-0. And seems like someone or something from the Aces bullpen may have gotten into the field of play. Home plate umpire does not like that. First pitch from Singer now, tipped away by Twomey, 0-1.
That's the second warning towards the Aces bullpen. I wonder when enough is enough and action is taken. Maybe it's 3 strikes and you're out. This is baseball, after all.
Second pitch misses outside, 1-1. Well, the Aces bullpen, when they're at home in Alexandria, they always have an army of lawn chairs at their disposal, and they form a little kind of circle because out in Alexandria, the bullpens don't have any fences on them. They are pretty much out of the field of play, unlike in Waldorf at where the Senators play at Regency Furniture Stadium. There, the bullpens are kind of in the field of play. They take up pretty much all of foul ground once you get past the infield dirt. 1-1 misses outside. The 1-2 misses outside. It's now 2-2. Fouled off. Count remains 2-2. Loud ding off the fence, and Ernie Echeverria goes to get that baseball as it came back into the field of play.
Ernie Echeverria usually retrieving pass balls as a catcher. This one clearly foul as he's in the on deck.
2-2 called strike 3, and there is the first punch out for Owen Singer as a Gaithersburg Giant.
Singer, in his debut finds the punch out. In between innings, assistant GM Daniel Harrington played the song I Will Wait by Mumford & Sons. Shout out to them. Saw them in concert last week. Gaithersburg cannot wait. They need to get out of this inning quickly, and they need to get their bats going if they want to get back into this game. And it starts with a Singer punch out.
Really nice punch out for Singer, who now goes to work on Ernie Echeverria. First pitch to Echeverria missed low, 1-0. Echeverria walked and then stole 2 bases, became the first of 5 runs scored by the Aces last inning. He is 0 for 1, grounding to a fielder's choice back in the first inning, but now 2 straight walks. He's up 2-0. First strike to Echeverria there, 2-1 the count. One pitch called ball, and if that had stayed in the glove of Zach White, maybe that could have been a called strike. It was that borderline pitch. Sometimes when the ball bounces out of the catcher's glove, it can disrupt what the umpire sees. That, however, is ball 4 on the inside, and it's a 3rd walk for Ernie Echeverria tonight.
The fellow catcher, I'm sure happy that one popped out, not called strike. Finds himself on first base, and the Giants will have to wait despite the wise words of Marcus Mumford. Following the wise words of Marcus Mumford, they're waiting to get out of this inning.
First pitch called strike to E.J. Hankerson, not having to wait for strike 1.
There we go, playing back-to-back on the good references.
That one misses low, 1-1 with 1 away. So Hankerson popped out to Rudisill to be the second out of the inning in just 3 batters for Carey. He pops this one up to right field. Weiss nicely placed under it. Kind of was shifted over to the foul line, so didn't really have to run very far. 2 gone here in the top of the 7th. I was just going to mention how the pop-out of Hankerson was the second out in 3 batters faced by Carey, but then a walk, RBI single, an error on the shortstop Maxey, and then the 3-run home run just kept the inning going as the Aces kept finding ways to reach base. Trip Capers watches strike 1.
And Singer doesn't quite know a lot about Gaithersburg, just joining the team. But it's the elusive 3rd out that he was brought in to chase. Did find it in his relief effort, but it's been all season, it seems like. Gaithersburg gets those 2, and then the other team's bats come alive and runs begin to score. Also a lot of walks when looking for that elusive 3rd.
2-1. There was only 1 walk surrendered after the 2 outs were gotten last inning, but it was Trip Capers, who's up 2-1 now on Owen Singer. Standing on first is Echeverria. Swing and a miss from Capers, 2-2. As Singer eyes his second punch out as a Giant. Has a 2-2, 2 outs. Echeverria on first. Pitch from Singer, swing and a miss from Capers. And it is 2 strikeouts for Singer. Now has pitched 1 1/3 for Gaithersburg. And that will end the top of the 6th inning. We'll stretch here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. I'm David Lewis, alongside me, Collin Smith. And the bottom of the 7th we go here in Gaithersburg. The Giants down 6, need to start chipping away. I mean, we've said it time and time again, that chip away mentality has to start here, Collin.
The chip away mentality plays into what they wear on the back of the jerseys. Hashtag GNQ, Giants never quit. Zach White is going to start the not quitting right now.
Swing and a miss there. Couldn't quite get adjusted to that one. It was way outside, but it's 76. Thought that could break back over the plate. 0-1 to Zach White. Leaves that one. Now 1-1. Just trying to start a response. Just need base runners and need them to cross home plate. 1-1. Leaves that one alone. So Alexander having some troubles here locating the zone. The first pitch was a swing and a miss, but it was outside the zone. And now White has left the last two alone.
Base runners crossing home plate is what has been the difficulty for the Giants.
2-1 swing and a miss by Alexander. Alexander gets White there. 2-2.
We've seen the Giants leave bases loaded, stranded, and it's been difficult for them to find those runs crossing 4.
And there is strike 3 called on Zach White. Another off-speed pitch from Alexander has White fooled, and there's one gone here in the bottom of the 7th.
And Quintiliano steps up to the plate. I like the way you move, blasting from the speakers. He needs to move across the base path, and he needs to cross 4. Can he get this party started? It's the bottom of the 7th.
Steps out of the box on that one to avoid it hitting him. It was 68, so had the time to do so. It's now 1-0. This one he hits hard and into right field through the infield gap between Hubner and Norton. And just like that, Quintiliano is aboard. That's just the 3rd hit for Gaithersburg tonight, the first for Quintiliano.
Well, I like the way he's moving because it's in the right direction. He's on the base path now. Can it be followed up by Maxey?
Quintiliano did a great job, able to pull his hands in and pull that baseball around. It was inside, didn't let that jam him, and now stands on first base. First pitch, misses low to Maxey. Time called by Echeverria, wants a new baseball for his pitcher. (1-0) to Ryan Maxey from St. John's Fisher College. That one skips in. 2-0 now to Maxey. For those Sixer fans out there, different Maxey.
I don't think he's related to Tyrese. We could ask him though. We haven't interviewed him yet this season. Maybe there's a surprise.
2-0. Clips the belt of Ryan Maxey. It's now 2-1. One out for Maxey. Chops this one over to Hubner, who tries the double play. Throw gets into left field. Quintiliano takes off for 3rd. And now Maxey takes off for 2nd. Quintiliano headed home, and he scores. Maxey into 2nd.
Michael Quintiliano, I like the way you move. David, the Giants have finally scored.
And it is off a throwing error from Braden Hubner, as just the angle that Hubner fielded it at, tried to go with the double play ball, gets away from his shortstop Derek Almeida, and goes into probably the deepest part of the park where none of the fielders were, into foul ground down the 3rd base line. It is an error on Braden Hubner, but it is the first run of the game for the Giants. And now Maxey stands in scoring position on second base. First pitch to Freddie Diaz is ball one.
And that was a fielder's choice that led to that error, and I think the fielder made the wrong choice, David.
1-0. Diaz cranks this one into center field. That's down. Maxey holds at third. Throw in. Diaz, great base running. Seeing that airmail of a throw by Cooper Hums, takes second base. So we talked about how Diaz has been starting to build momentum for himself offensively. There, gets the base hit into center, sees the throw go over all the cutoffs' heads, and takes second base.
And the Giants are alive. They've been sleeping. Everyone talks about a sleeping giant. Gaithersburg is back. The bats are moving. They're doing this with one out. This is a high foul ball. Luckily escapes from Houghton Henley. I almost broadcast or jinxed him. But really smart base running. That's what I wanted to talk about was Diaz holds on first. Potentially the come around from Maxey. Decides to hold on third. It was a high throw. The catcher had to take a couple steps and almost Odell it. So Diaz advances himself.
0-1. Henley pops this one up foul again. 0-2. This time getting into the netting. So no worry of Riley Norton tracking that one down the first base line. 0-2, two runners in scoring position. Maxey on third, Diaz on second. This one lofted into shallow right. That's going to get down. Maxey will score. Diaz right behind him. No throw home. And Nate Houghton Henley into second base. It's 6-3 now.
And right there, I think there was a bit of confusion, a bad hesitation by Caper out in right field. He decided not to throw home as 2 runs are scoring. But because he didn't decide to throw home, he also didn't decide to throw to second. So Houghton Henley brings himself all the way around as the Giants get runs across home plate and stay in scoring position.
Keeping the train going, and it appears Chris Bursett will have a word with Aiden Alexander and his entire infield. And Nate Houghton Henley, great job. They do give another error there to the right fielder, Trip Capers, on that. So the throws for the Aces getting the best of them. It was originally the throw from Braden Hubner trying to get the double play at second going. Misses, goes into left field. That allows the inning to keep going. Then the Diaz single to center, and then Cooper Hums airmailing all of his cutoffs on the pull down, gets Diaz to second, and then there, Trip Capers had no idea where to throw it to, and now Houghton Henley in scoring position, scoring to bunt. Weiss, back pick, Henley takes off for third, gets down, and the throw got away, so Henley's in there safely.
Smart base running. The Terp, the mascot might be slow. Houghton Henley isn't as he gets moving on the base path, gets himself to third base.
And now the 4th run for Gaithersburg is 90 feet away. They've put up 3 already. Ruiz Weiss squared to bunt on first pitch, called the ball. Hits this one into left center. Backtracking is Hankerson, makes the grab. Henley tags up. He scores, and it's 6-4. So doing his job is Brady Ruiz Weiss. There is 2 gone now here in the bottom of the 7th, but a certainly productive out for Ruiz Weiss. You did not want to leave Henley stranded on third.
No, that great base running. I think I'm going to give Ruiz Weiss a little credit with the squaring to bunt. I think that, threw off.
Here in Gaithersburg, or with the bases empty, time called. And home plate umpire issuing a warning to Alexander, saying, wait for the call that the ball is in play. Alexander saying he's just looking at me. So now play is given. 1-2. Popped up. Ranging over. Capers. Foul ground. Grab made by Braden Hubner. So numerous errors for the Aces defensively, but really good base running for Gaithersburg, and they played 4 in the bottom of the 7th.
I talked about how big of a defensive matchup it was in the early innings. That changed in the 5th inning. It was Gaithersburg that began making the mistakes, and then we saw a couple errors followed up by the Aces in that inning. And let me tell you, the Giants, I think they hurt us. They are not Mumford & Sons. They are not waiting. They are active offensively as we end the 7th.
And we will go to the 8th inning, now a 2-run ball game. The smallest lead for the Aces since the end of the 3rd inning. And we'll step away here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Owen Singer back out on the mound for Gaithersburg. He's already gone through 1 1/3 inning, gave up a single to Hums in his first batter faced, then a flyout of Almeida, then a strikeout of Twomey, 1 walk given up last inning, as well as a second strikeout of Trip Capers, which will bring up Braden Hubner. Hubner really had the cascading error of last inning. This one he puts on the ground. Diaz dives, gets under his glove. Would have been a tough throw to make for Diaz had he got that one in his glove. So Hubner, trying to erase the damage his error did, starts it off with a single.
Riley Norton is going to come up to the plate, hoping to continue that streak. You talked about Hubner trying to undo the damage of his error. It was across the whole field that the Aces saw errors, so it's going to take a team effort to make up for it.
First pitch to Norton bounces in. Norton has reached base all 3 times he's been up to bat, walked, singled, and reached on error his last time up. He now has Hubner on first. Swing and a miss there from Norton. And I really do think that out of all the errors, certainly Hubner's was the cascading effect one. I mean, the throw got all the way into foul territory by his own bullpen down the third base line and just kept allowing the Giants runners to step on more bases. 2-1 the count now. That pitch misses outside. 3-1 to Riley Norton. Norton trying to advance. Hubner on first. 3-1 misses. He does so by way of a walk, and that brings up the home run hitter of Adam Zayabzada.
Dom Zayabzada, we saw him knock one deep, went over the tall part of the fence here at Crystal Automotive, showing his power off and beefing with Bryce Rudisil, as I like to say.
First pitch, he grounds over to Maxey, fields it, steps on second, throws to first, double play!
And it was Maxey making up for what Zayabzada's done earlier, gets it across to Rudisil, 2 outs in this inning.
So Hubner does get over to third, but 2 gone now eliminates the sacrifice. Maxey had some issues just 2 innings ago in the field, but right there showing that he can make plays. Steps on second himself and then throws across to Rudisil for the second out.
It's huge for eliminating the Hubner potential sac fly run to score.
Aces trying to extend their lead. What was once 6, now 2. Second pitch to Hums misses again. 2-0. Hums trying to extend it back to a 3-run lead. Has Hubner on third. That one misses again. 3-0 to Cooper Hums. Hums has 3 singles tonight, 3 of 9 hits for the Aces. 3-0. Was going to keep the bat on his shoulder. Watches strike 1.
Our TrackMan did not pick that one up. It showed as a far ball, but clearly was in the zone. Good job from Singer finding it. Doesn't there.
That is ball 4. And now runners on the corners for Alexandria and Derek Almeida. That is the 3rd walk issued by Singer in his Giants debut. Has pitched really well here for Gaithersburg. Now his runners on the corners. First pitch to Almeida. Called strike 1.
I just checked Singer's Instagram to find out where he went to high school. Looked like his profile picture was Churchill, so he's headed to Marymount next year, and it's been good so far in his Giants debut, fresh out of high school.
0-1. Almeida appeared to call time. Time wasn't verbally given. So they count that as a disengagement. No pitch, so I think that would have been ball 1, but no pitch given on that funky exchange there.
Interesting. No verbal timeout from the
0-1. Swing and a miss by Almeida. And I don't know if I heard a time call from Almeida, but he did not look ready at all. So something must have been said quieter than what we can hear up here that put a pause on play. 0-2. Hums goes, fouled off. Hums has to return. 0-2.
Hums attempting to steal bases. That's a shocker, right, David?
Exactly. I mean, there's a few guarantees in life. Cooper Hums taking off for second is probably one of them.
It's up there with death and taxes, I think.
You just got to check around a little bit. 0-2. Singer eyeing another punch out. Could be his 3rd on Almeida. 0-2. Chopped foul. So Almeida keeps his at-bat alive.
Going back to that timeout, Almeida was standing in the box with the bat straight up and down, clearly not ready for it. But if he'd called the timeout, I thought he would have maybe stepped away, but stayed in regardless.
It's a really odd exchange. 0-2, count remains. Step off, Humes in a pickle. Coming home now, Hubner gets not under the tag. Hubner out at home. Zach White delivers that tag and delivers the 3rd and final blow to the Aces offense in the top of the 8th.
The Aces tried some funny business there. We talked about death, taxes, and Cooper Hums trying to steal a base. He goes, gets caught in the pickle, and tries to keep himself alive just long enough for a run to cross. Doesn't fool. Zach White gets that ball, tags it out, ends the inning.
Heads up play by Bryce Rudisil to not worry about the runner in Cooper Hums, who was the original target of that pickle. Throws it home just in the nick of time to get Braden Hubner. 6-4 the score remains. We talk about that chip away. 4 in the bottom of the 7th. What can the Giants offense deliver here? We'll find out on the Giants Broadcast Network.
Ready?
Yeah. Back here in Gaithersburg, it's Cole Gebbin, the sophomore at Western Michigan. Got to celebrate a hockey national championship. Looking to try and bring the Aces out of this one, being the champion of the night.
I was going to say he's going to try to find the same success his friends over on the ice did him here on the diamond in Gaithersburg, Maryland.
First bat he faces is Andrew Hollab, who wears that one. I was going to say it's a hot bat, but the hot bat is going to be tossed aside on the first pitch from Gebbin.
Well, just like hockey, baseball's contact sport, Andrew Hollab's going to feel that one tomorrow right on his back shoulder. Glad that this isn't hockey. We may have saw a little scuffle, a drop of the gloves there. So far, yet to view a fight in the Cal Ripken Collegiate Summer League, you and I.
I don't really hope that happens. First pitch to Bryce Rudisil. He swings and misses it there. It would certainly be a spectacle to be seen, but I don't really hope that happens in a game.
I think our broadcast might get clipped and go viral, though. So, is it all for the views or for the sanity, David?
0-1 to Rudisil. Swing and a miss again. 0-2 now to Rudisil. Rudisil reached on an error, but other than that, 0 for 2. Struck out his last time up. He is the tying run. 0-2. This one hit hard right at Hollab. He gets out of the way. And now they signal that he is out on that one. Hit 100 off the bat. And Andrew Hollab could not get out of the way.
I mean, certainly 100 off the bat. I don't think Andrew Hollab was trying to be in front of it. That's the second base runner's interference we've seen this year, you and I. This one a little more obvious than when there was controversial Collin Hughes out.
Yeah, so runner remains on first. This time it's Bryce Rudisil. And, I mean, Hollab had the instinctive look on that where his shoulders were already squared to the baseball and kind of fielded that like a ground ball before realizing he needed to get out of the way. 0-1. Rudisil thought about going, ends up coming back, and induces ball 1. 1-1 the count now to Zach White.
I told you, Bryce Rudisil's been dancing all night. He's drawn a few throwbacks and balls and disengagements. Certainly active on the base path.
1-1. Rudisil stays put, check swing. They say he did not go. Zach White keeps that one to himself. 2-1.
Echeverria went up for the opinion of the first base ump. I don't really know why Zach White did not really get close to crossing the plate there.
Always got to check in case there's, as the ump calls it, moment.
Better safe than sorry is what Coach Casey Gibbs also told me when he put the rain gear on the camera in the outfield before this game. There was no rain, but you got to stay safe. Always double check.
Got to be prepared. 3-1. Rudisil again almost takes off, but it's ball 4. And so 3 batters, 3 base runners. Although we had a runner's interference, so could have been bases loaded, but unfortunately, Andrew Hollab just in the crossfire of a 100-mile-an-hour line drive off the bat of Bryce Rudisil.
I see Hollab walking around. Good to know he's okay. I know that assists aren't a baseball stat as much as, basketball, lacrosse, hockey. I'm going to give Bryce Rudisil the assist on that walk to Zach White because his dancing out there, I really think, was crucial in drawing 2 of those balls.
Certainly looked like it, and especially the pivotal pitch on 3-1 missed just high. And now it's a runner in scoring position. Tying run is represented by Zach White on first. Bryce Rudisil on second. First pitch to Cantiliano. This one's grounded to Hubner. Double play ball. Throw by Almeida in time to complete the double play. And so with that, the side is retired for Gaithersburg, unable to chip into the narrow 2-run lead for Alexandria. We head to the final frame here on the Giants Broadcast Network. All right.
You want to come back?
Welcome back on the Giants broadcast network. Gaithersburg unable to strike in the bottom of the eighth. The 6-4 lead for the Aces remains going in to the final regulation frame. Top of the ninth we go, and it's another Giants debut. Number 40, Jacob Goldman, the righty sophomore from the junior college East Florida State, will step on the mound.
And David, what else do you want? Top of the ninth, 2-run game. I mean, I'd rather have a sports car and a couple other things, and I'd rather have a Giants win, but this is exciting baseball in Gaithersburg.
It has been a very exciting game. Gaithersburg did not plate any runs until the bottom of the seventh inning when they put up 4, and they have to play some defense to keep it a 2-run lead.
And
for the Aces.
I've been instructed. I had my hat off for a little bit. It's been on and off all day. As run score, I usually throw it. I've been instructed by the stats table to go rally cap, David. I think you need to go the same.
I have the newer hats, and I can't really bend it around to get it there, but I'll try here. First pitch from Goldman as a Giant. Misses on Derek Almeida. Almeida may have been saved from going 0-5 in his last at-bat, as Braden Hubner was caught stealing at home. Almeida was down 0-2. He's up 1-0 here. Watches strike one, 1-1 the count now. Almeida is 0 for 4 with just one strikeout. So possibly saved there. Has to go into the batter's box again.
He was certainly happy to be helped out by that circus, although it did lead to an out for his team.
1-1 skips into the glove of White. 2-1 the count now. So yeah, these new hats are a little harder to
Yours
get
doesn't
into
turn
a rally
as well
hat. Yeah, I do like the trucker hat look, and they do go better with these jerseys. However, I do miss the hats of last season.
It's the one I'm wearing, the navy blue look.
That one misses 3-1 the count. And for those of you listening at home, you can come here to Criswell Automotive Field and get your own Gaithersburg Giants merch at the next Giants home game, which will be Wednesday night against the Crop Dusters here. 3-1 count to Almeida. Called strike 2. Almeida even dropped his bat. Didn't toss it aside, but dropped it. Have to pick it up again.
David, I have a problem with this. It's how the calls it. You got to wait for it. I think if you drop your bat on a called strike when you think it's a walk, it should be an out. That's just my opinion.
It's now full count to Derek Almeida, trying to avoid going 0 for 5. Goldman looking for his first punch out. Called strike 3.
It happened again. This time he gets thrown out, deservingly so. He dropped his bat thinking it was ball 4. In hockey, you send a puck out. It's a delay game. It's a penalty. He delays the game, but the gets the call right.
That is strike 3 called on Derek Almeida. He is now 0 for 5 and has been struck out twice. And that brings up Will Twomey, the freshman going to the University of Michigan. And he can have fun in the big house as long as he keeps watching strikes go by from Goldman. 0-1.
He's just 2 strikes closer to football season. Get ready to watch Bryce Underwood. Really exciting number 1 prospect.
0-1. This one hit hard on the ground and past the glove of Diaz. And now a single for Twomey, his second of the night. He's 2 for 4 now. 2 strikeouts, 2 singles for Twomey.
David, I threw my rally cap there because I believe that was a broadcaster jinx. I'm going to take ownership for that ball being put into play as I was, talking about football season. It's baseball. It's June 30th. Why am I talking about football, David?
The end of June comes down to tonight. Gaithersburg in a spot that they did not anticipate themselves in the standings. This pitch to Echeverria misses low. Twomey stands on first. And it's turned into a really pleasant night here in Gaithersburg. The weather that we thought might come stayed away. No lightning alarm, no lightning delay, and a breeze coming in. Really nice night here in Gaithersburg, Maryland. 2-0 to Echeverria.
So I fixed the scoreboard there as I took a moment to be frustrated with myself. I own up to that, Gaithersburg fans. It's on me.
The old broadcaster's jinx striking again. 2-0. This one hit hard into left field or tracking. Settles under it. Makes the grab. No tag from Will Twomey.
And Danny Orr, normal day infielder, ready and willing where his team needed him to step up in the outfield tonight.
And it's actually been a surprisingly quiet night in left field for Orr. I think that's, by my scorebook, his first putout of the game.
I was going to say, we haven't mentioned his name much other than when he's in the batter's box. Usually we're talking about him trying to turn double plays.
And with the amount of righty bats in this lineup for the Aces, interesting that is his first putout. He's had a lot of ground balls that have exited and line drives that have exited the infield on that left side of your screen that he's had to field, but his first actual fly ball hit his way makes the out. 0-1. That one looped inside 1-1 on E.J. Hankerson. Twomey stands on first. 1-1, 2 outs. Twomey takes off. Throw down from White in a lot of time, way early. And that will end the top of the third. Authoritatively, Zach White gets that caught stealing.
And Twomey's still out there. Hope that he's okay on the slide in. He's already in for injury relief tonight, as now his first base coach will go in to make sure that he's all good to finish this game out in the ninth.
Yeah, shaking his hands. Hopefully he didn't jam any of his fingers on the base. I've done that before back in my playing days and was not a great feeling. What would be a great feeling, though, is if the Giants can plate 3 to walk off the Aces in the bottom of the ninth. They need 2 to keep this game going. They have 3 outs to work with. Don't go anywhere on the Giants Broadcast Network. All right. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. I'm David Lewis. Alongside me, Collin Smith. Collin, Gaithersburg has their work cut out for them. Down 2, 3 outs to work. It'll be Ryan Maxey up first to respond.
And they finally woke up. It took the later stages of the game. It took all the way until the final inning night to go for them to score a run. They have more work to do. Still down 2 outs. 2 runs. Correction.
First pitch to Ryan Maxey finds the zone. It's 0-1. Maxey reached on an error to Hubner and then came around to score. He hits this one on a line drive and into right center field. So now the tying run is in the batter's box, and it's Freddie Diaz.
And David, I've already been quite animated tonight. If you were tuned in for the top, I suggested rule changes. I blamed myself for a broadcaster jinx. I threw my rally cap. I'm fired up on this Monday night because the Giants, they're coming back. They're not coming back, but they're getting alive. I'm not saying it's a comeback or anything, you know. They're finding their stride. That's the term I'll use.
Diaz trying to solidify his stride. First pitch to him was 0-1, but he had a single, came around to score last time he was up, and then walked previously. Trying to keep it going for himself. Busted bat, dribbler, over to shortstop. Almeida's throw to second, not in time! And he does keep his momentum going in the batter's box. Freddie Diaz aboard with an infield single, busted his bat, but I'm sure he would much rather stand on first and pay a little bit more for a new bat.
I was going to say, Freddie Diaz might not be too upset that he's got to, hit the shopping cart tonight, because I think the busted bat took a little velocity change on that might have helped, has it stay intact. Who knows if that's fielded cleanly by Almeida.
Tying run now on base in Freddie Diaz. Nate Houghton Henley now up to bat. Squares to bunt. Chopper bounces foul. So that had Maxey going pretty much on the pitch as well as Diaz. So that one a little more called than previously. Cantiliano scored the bunt earlier in the game, but there the runners were a little slow. Rudisil called out at third on the fielder's choice. But that one likely would have been a little more interesting. 0-1 to Henley, squares the bunt again. This one gets down. Diaz on his way to second. He's in safely. Henley out at first. Now the tying run is in scoring position. Maxey on third, and then Diaz on second.
And Brady Ruiz-Weiss, often the bunt guy, most likely to swing away now, as we saw Houghton Henley take care of the squaring.
Job has got to get done here for Ruiz-Weiss. Big spot. Tying run on second. First pitch to Weiss. Swings away. Pops it up. Shallow left. Giving ground. Hankerson makes the grab. Maxey is not going to tag. Throw gets in. And no run scores. Not a deep enough fly ball to score Maxey. No runners could advance. Gaithersburg down to their final out.
We saw Capers struggle to know where to throw it on a ball earlier in this game. Hankerson, no hesitation, gets it immediately home and doesn't give Gaithersburg at all a chance to tag up.
Now here's Danny Orr. First pitch to Orr. Swing and a miss by Orr. Danny Orr 0 for 4 in this game. Hasn't reached base tonight. Has to come through here. 0-1. Orr watches that one bounce in.
Sure, Echevar's heart skipped for a second. He didn't maintain that ball at first. Last thing he would want to do is let a run cross home plate via a bad pitch.
1-1. Gaithersburg down to their final out. Danny Orr at bat. This one hits softly into right field. Capers under it, however, makes the grab to end this one. And almost, I would say, a heartbreaker yet again here in Gaithersburg. They certainly had enough opportunities again, just as they did in Game 2 of the doubleheader yesterday against the DC Grays, and just could not get out of the 6-run deficit that they found themselves in.
It's the same thing as last night. The tying run was in scoring position, David. The Giants find themselves in these big holes, these big deficits. They fight back into them, but they just can't quite finish. It's like when a batter gets himself down early in the count, he gets it to full, but goes out swinging. It counts. It feels good to fight back, but at the end of the day, the score column is not going to look any different as if you lost 20-0.
And really what was the deciding factor was that 3-run home run by Adam Zayabzada, and that was what gave the Aces their 4th, 5th, and 6th runs of the 6th inning. And credit to Cody Sharman. He had a fantastic start, got through 5, gave up 3 hits, and just 1 run. A fantastic start for Sharman, and I hope he continues that in the future. I mean, that was really nice to see from him. Really nice bounce-back start.
Sharman, along with his infielders, we saw great team chemistry in those early innings with Sharman on the mound. A lot of plays being made, a lot of outs coming for Gaithersburg. And it's just those small things. It's the little switch ups when they went to the bullpen to carry. He couldn't find that third out when needed. And that's where Gaithersburg has fallen short here throughout the season. That's going to end the month of June, one that Giants would like to forget.
It's going to take a monster July to be able to play postseason baseball. Gaithersburg now 4-18 on the season, and at the bottom of the North Division and the Cal Ripken Senior Collegiate League. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. The final score, Aces 6, Giants 4. And we hope to see you here at Criswell Automotive Field. The Giants will have a day off tomorrow because, surprisingly, no rainouts.
A much-needed day off, as I might mention. It's time to reset. Again, we mentioned turning the calendar. I think Zach White definitely needs a break. He's been catching a ton, as well as a lot of the guys for Gaithersburg. So a much-needed day off. And then you have a mini doubleheader. I don't know how to describe Wednesday's matchup for you.
A special treat if you do want to head out here to Criswell Automotive Field in Gaithersburg, Maryland. Wednesday will feature the last 3 innings of the only Crop Dusters home game that was suspended due to darkness back about a week ago. Currently in that game, entering the 7th inning, Gaithersburg up 8-5 as the away team. Following the final 3 innings there, they will then play 9 innings against the Crop Dusters as the home team. So we hope to see you there, and we hope that if you can't make it, you'll tune in on the Giants Broadcast Network on Wednesday, the hour before that Game 2 starts. So once again, thanks for tuning in. Final score, Alexandria Aces 6, Gaithersburg Giants 4. And he's Collin Smith. I'm David Lewis, signing off from Criswell Automotive Field. Thank you.